Today on the channel, just missed Halloween by that much. But today on the channel, we got the G.I. Joe Classified series, Grim Viper.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another G.I. Joe Classified series unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got a little bit of a repaint with a twist in the G.I. Joe Classified series, Grim Viper. But for all your Grim Viper needs and a whole lot more, hit up jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15%. Gotta get a deal out there. And we're going to dive into the Grim Viper. Just missing Halloween season. Would have been a perfect unboxing for the Halloween season, but we're a couple days after. That'll be okay. And you guys know we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. Now, I'm not familiar with the Grim Viper. I'm not sure if he's in some of the comics nowadays. Not sure exactly if this is just a straight up made up character. Does make sense. He does look like a Grim Viper. If I had to imagine something, I'd say, yeah, that does fit. And it is good reuse of the Range Viper in all-timer, if there ever was one, in the Cobra Vipers. As a kid, the Range Viper was always a member of Cobra Law for me, kind of like the Hydro Viper. You had to build out that team. You had to use your imagination a little bit. Crocmaster would dangle over there. I know a lot of people used him in the Dreadnoks. I always use Crocmaster, easy for me to think of. I always use Crocmaster with Cobra Law, but that was me. I don't know, you sound off what you did in the comments below. But this guy probably would have fit in with Cobra Law for me as well. Who knows? But he does got the Cobra logo, G.I. Joe down here, G.I. Joe Classified series, as we do know. Grim Viper, building out the Vipers, and be interested to hear if this is actually a real Viper along the way. Looking pretty good over here. Heavy machine gunner here. It's like the alternate universe roadblock is what we got going on. QR code over here, nobody ever scans. Come on, nobody does that. What are we doing? On the bottom there, jibber jabber for days. And then we get a pretty cool image here of the Grim Viper in action. It looks like he's with Jesse the Body Ventura, Carl Weathers, and Arnold Schwarzenegger out in the jungle, ready to take on the Predator. That's what he looks like. But I love the background there. Love the artwork there. Looking very cool. And he is number 176 in the Classified line so far. Can't believe how many figures we get from this line. I love it, though. Cobra logo there. See you later. Goodbye. Bam! See you later, Spider-Man style. Plastic prison. He's got quite the loadout going on in here. We got a big backpack, of course. And then you got to have a small weapon and a big weapon. We know how these guys do it. We're hip to their game by now. He's got some knives here, which you never know when you might need a knife. Can I get the knives out, though? Very sticky tape on this one. Could be Cambodian, Todd and farther from the couch. There it is. Oh, we're about ready to rock and roll, strut and stroll. See you later. Goodbye. That just landed on the table. The way it goes sometimes. That's the way it goes. Let's get them all straightened out. And let's dive into this Grim Viper. Looking extra grim here today. But let's start with both knives here. You get the all black knife going on. Very nice. Got a nice curl to it here. You know, he's ready to gut a fish or gut a human if he needs to. Who knows? And then we got an even bigger knife over here with the steel blade on the end. Nice gray silver color. Got the black on the handle. Two knives are better than one. That's what we're going to say. Got to have a small pistol, and that's what he exactly has here. A little pistol holster on the side so we can store it on the figure. All in black. We've seen this before as well. Looking good to have that. And then we got the big old weapon here. This is the big one. Very cool. Now, we've seen this before as well, if I'm not mistaken, and we've seen this part of vehicles and stuff. But this is him. He's the heavy gunner. The heavy gunner of the Vipers is what he is. And this drum, I believe, yep, let's say the drum comes out if you want it to. Slides right in there very easily. All black here, but you do got a couple of dings and dents on it. This guy's used this a time or two. We do get the turning right there, so that does have a little bit of motion if you need to. Handle up top, handle on the side. He's just going to mow everybody down. Watch out, Duke. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Even Cobra knows that, like, we don't like the Joes, but we got to help him out. That's what they say at Todd McFarlane. Cobra's like, you know, we hate these Joes, but we really hate Duke. And it's kind of like one of those superhero team-ups. Like, what was that Headman episode of the G.I. Joe? It was during the Deke years. You guys hunting for the Deke lately? Todd, I know you're always on the hunt for the Deke. But I remember that where Cobra and the Joes kind of teamed up a little bit. Like, yeah, we don't get along, but this guy over here, he's terrible. That's kind of how Cobra is a little bit with Duke from time to time. Got a couple of flames over here on the side looking very good. And then he's got the little tally marks down here. You know, every time he mows down a Joe, he's putting a little tally mark right on there. And it's probably because he's getting ready to kill Duke. And then Duke's like, oh my gosh, clean sweep, get in the way. And clean sweep dies right there because Duke throws him in the way. What a leader, that Duke. What a leader. Is he? Come on, we know the story. We know the story. We do got the backpack here, looking good. All kinds of bullets on the back, a little bit of like a computer pad. Got the canister up here. Does that help him breathe, maybe? And then you got the wire that does connect into the head. We'll get into that in a little bit. You got a little antenna if he needs to talk to somebody, and then plugs into the back. True G.I. Joe style. We know how that goes. But now we're diving into the old Grim Viper here, looking like a range Viper with a twist. And we'll compare it here in a little bit. Starting with the head there. Love the mask over there, the skeleton mask. He's got like fire in his eyes, looking really cool. And then he's got the skeleton-like teeth, probably making Skeletor blush somewhere. And then I love the exposed brains on the top. That's why he was a Cobra Law guy for me. He felt like he was, you know, from science fiction or something. He felt like a horror story. And that's kind of what Cobra Law was in a lot of ways. So I do love that head, and we've seen this head before, as we know. But now diving into the body, a little bit different. This is where things changed up a little bit. We got the big over vest over the top, big heavy gunner vest, got the Cobra logo, got all kinds of satchels in the front there, little pockets, all kinds of stuff ready to go. Got the camouflage shirt on, looking very good, camouflage. And we got the forearm guards here. We've seen these over the years. I think we saw this last was with Budo, maybe? Possibly. Gloved hands on him, 2 trigger finger hands. He's ready to go, as you can imagine with this one. But looking good, very big, muscular guy. You're going to have to be a bigger guy if you're going to haul that big machine gun around. So that does look good. Got a belt here. You got the spot for the pistol. Love to see that. You got a spot for the knife over here. And then you got a spot for the other knife on the side of his hip. I love to be able to store everything on the figures. You guys know that as well. Green pants down here. And then you get down to the black boots. Looking pretty good. No problems there. Got the hole in the back for the backpack, as you can imagine. Butterfly on this one. So nice to have a little butterfly action. Arms all the way around. Bicep cut. Double jointed pinless elbows. Extremely tight right there. Hands back and forth, side to side. Head back and forth, side to side. Get a little ab crunch in there. Hard to do with the vest, as you can imagine. But you get plenty of dumbbell out of the waist if you need it. Got those big old splits. Look at that. That side kick there. That would make Jonathan Brandis blush back in the day. Maybe the Sequest days. Who knows? You do get the drop down hips as well. Leg goes up for the big boot. Thigh cut. Nicely hidden as usual. And then we get the double jointed pinless knees. Not tight on those at all. The arms are actually tighter than the legs. That's usually the other way around. You do get a little boot cut, and then ankles back, forth, side to side, up and down. A little loosey in the ankles. I will make mention of that. I love that he has a nut cup on, too. He's ready to protect the junk. You always got to protect the junk, right, Todd? Oh, of course, unless you're hunting for the deke like you always are over there. I get it. I get it. But looking good here. I don't mind this figure. Feels made up because I think it's made up. I am not familiar with this character. He definitely wasn't around when I read the comic books through episode 100 or issue 100 plus watching all the episodes of the cartoons, including the Deke years. I don't remember the Grim Viper being involved, but I understand it. We got to get the most out of our molds, and you got to build out the legacy of the line. Eventually, we're going to run out of G.I. Joe characters. It's just a sad fate here. So they're going to invent some along the way. They're going to give us some repaints along the way. And mark my words, once we get a little deeper, I think the time is coming sooner rather than later. Okay, time to redo that first Cobra Commander. Time to redo that Roadblock. Time to redo it. We're going to see a lot of that. We've seen it in Star Wars Black Series. I think we'll see it with G.I. Joe. But I got to say, G.I. Joe gives us a lot more characters than the Black Series, which I definitely appreciate. And if you're watching this, you probably appreciate that as well. We do get a stand, and we can use code Kyle to save 10% at Ringside Collectibles on those Mattel stands if we need them there. Now, the backpack does fit in his back, as you can imagine. And then you got that pipe here, the pipe, wire, whatever you want to call it. Uh-oh, I was going to say, doesn't it connect into the side of his head? I think it's right there behind that kind of eardrum is what it looks like, but I don't know. I feel like I've seen this backpack before. Who was it made for? It was made for one of them. I can't remember, but I guess, I don't know if that's supposed to be the plug-in. I guess that is, but it doesn't go in there very tight, that's for sure. But it is a little bit of reuse here, and I think they were trying to kind of trick us a little bit there. But it looks like there's an indentation, but that's not really fitting in there. So I'm not a big fan of that, that's for sure. But we do got that going on. But we do got the Range Viper Once Upon a Time. Oh, there it is. Whoa, I just dropped a weapon. It's in the back of his head. That's why I was doing it wrong. Missed it. His head was tilted up. There we go. That fits right in the back of his head, just like I thought, right? There you go. But the Range Viper, the Grim Viper, brothers from another mother. They could team up if you want to. I'm sure if you're like me, you probably prefer this one. An OG, an amazing figure once upon a time. But we've seen it reused before. We're seeing it reused again. And who knows? Maybe in the future we'll see it one more time. I wouldn't be shocked at that. But a lot of fun between these two. I do like the height difference here because you do get different bodies on this one. It's not just a straight re-release, as you can easily see with this one here. So it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to get something like this. Just a little bit different, but I can see people passing too. They don't have a remembrance. They don't have a connection with this figure. But if you're all in on the classified, you're building your troops, you need some jungle guys to take on Predator, this guy could be for you, no doubt. But there it is, the old Grim Viper. What's your thoughts on this one? You all in on a Grim Viper? You need this in your collection? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day with 2 YouTube channels every single day, 4 videos between them. SirPaul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which conveniently enough is the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show. Available every Tuesday where podcasts are found. You can also check out YouTube, channel memberships, and Patreon for more content if you need it. So for the Grim Viper, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?